Hi Aries, welcome to your full moon in Libra reading. Decided to do a separate read for this just because I'm feeling really good about this particular full moon. I just feel like it's going to be pretty important, quite frankly, especially for everybody, but especially for Aries and Libra. I do feel like, right, because you guys are having this happen on the relationship axis. So when it comes to things boiling up to the surface in the area of relationship, you guys are going to be probably feeling it the most. So I'm going to start with a little lead-in of the astrology, and if you're not interested in that, that's totally fine. Check the timestamp below in the description box, and you could just pop forward to the Celtic cross spread that I'm going to be pulling for you. That's going to be based on the full moon. Okay, so however you want to do it, it's totally fine. But let's get into what is going on here. So we have the full moon is happening on Sunday, March 28th, when the sun in Aries is going to form an opposition to the Libra moon. So this is a time of culmination, the promise of fulfillment of something that began at the new moon. Lots of heightened emotions, guys, lots of heightened emotions. Romance, especially for you guys, fertilization, right? The ability to actually grow something, relationship drama, epiphanies, and these, just almost what feel like almost like serendipitous realizations, right? Are themes of this particular full moon. We have yin, look at this, clean it up in building blocks. I love it. Clean it up. So it's all about cleaning up whatever needs to be addressed, whatever needs to be taken care of, whatever needs to be and the thing is here with the clean it up energy, I do want to mention, like, you can't clean up somebody else's backyard. You can only clean up your own. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a lot of this, like you versus somebody else, right? Because this Aries Libra polarity, this is the relationship axis, right? So where you guys, Aries, represent self and Libra represents other, right? There's going to be this sort of like, I'm not even going to say tension. It's almost going to be like a showdown that could end beautifully, or it can end however it's meant to end. But I don't want you to go into it with a very ominous attitude, regardless of how bad, challenging, negative things might feel at the moment, right? Because remember, you guys are all about self-assertion. Come on, let's go. And Libra's about compromise, what's fair, right? Very aware with this particular Libra moon, very aware of your need for relationships and everything that comes with maintaining them. That would be compromise, that would be negotiating, that would be graciousness, that would be the need to balance things, right? And the Aries sun, on the other hand, here on the other side, is very self-assertive, leading, you guys are very personally courageous. So you want to just kind of think justice and the Emperor energy. But there does need to be, what happens here is the full moon shines this very bright light on what needs to be cleaned up. So it does seem like this is a very beautiful energy for you guys to get, a very necessary one. As this full moon is going to be urging us to all of us, especially depending on the houses that we're going to be feeling it in. Again, you're going to be feeling the full moon in your 7th house, but Venus is in your 1st house. So that's what I'm going to be pulling your spread on. So just so that you understand that. Then we have yin. So look, this full moon is definitely going to be urging all of us to strike a balance between meeting our personal needs and attending to the needs of a significant other. Not only in romance, right? You guys are feeling it in the relationship sector. These are relationship energies for sure, but we're all going to be feeling it in a particular part of our life anyway. And yin really is about that sensitive part of ourselves. And it's the tenderness, it's the needs, it's where we feel vulnerable, right? So it's like this cleaning up and realizing what it is that you really actually need in the relationship. And there's going to be a lot of this going on here, right? Because it's between independence or autonomy, dependence, compatibility, right? It's just very diplomatic, equal with the Libra moon. Very diplomatic, very equally focused, very fair-minded, because remember, it's Venus, and Venus is really about How do you feel in this? How's the love? How equitable is everything, right? How equitable is everything? And the Aries sun really values authenticity over tact and is really energized by self efforts, right? Independent endeavors, right? So the full moon highlights this conflict because it's like, what's fair, what's not, you, me, us together, wait a minute, what's going on? So definitely relationships are going to be occurring now. Now the building blocks energy, you're going to be looking at the building blocks of your relationships, and you're going to be looking at, where is there a fissure in the foundation of something, or where does something need reinforcement or need to be built in the first place? Because you're likely going to be experiencing revelations about your independence, the need for others, partnerships, and Venus is going to be aligning with the sun, and Venus rules the Libra moon. So this dynamic, right, this is making this dynamic particularly useful, excuse me, for resolving conflicts that might be going on in relationship. Now Saturn, just important as like a side note, not so much a side note, but sort of, Saturn is trining the North Node, Mars is conjunct the North Node, and Saturn harmonizes with the sun and the moon. So they can be very helpful interactions with people who are older than you, superiors, or more experienced. So this could also have to do with any sort of therapist, any sort of counseling, if you're in that space of needing that, or somebody who is very experienced, maybe giving some advice in this area, anything like that, okay? But there's this choice to structure, limit, or simplify your life in a significant way that's going to end up leading to a huge improvement. So if the relationship is not working, it's going to become impossible for you to ignore if you're working with an energy who does not want to work on acknowledging what's necessary as far as building here, right? You're going to feel also a little more trepidation, a little more careful, a little more conservative, right, when it comes to being willing to just jump into something and say, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, whatever, right? You're going to feel up to the challenge if it means growing and learning, but if it means like it's going to go against your grain and it's going to challenge your ability to feel independent, that's going to be really, really hard. That's going to be hard. It definitely is. So that's what we have for this portion. So let me pull a Celtic cross spread. All right, so we have our Aries friends again. Full moon in the 7th, Venus in the 1st. 7th is all about marriage, partnership, relationships. Guys, even if those of you who are in business, this could be a business partnership, any sort of any person who you have a shared soul connection with. And the first house, Venus, is lighting up that first house of self, right? Well, first of all, you guys are going to be looking super cute right now because Venus in the 1st, yes. It's a very, very cute energy. Very cute energy. But you're really going to be focused on, like, how do you feel being in something? How does it make you feel? Do you like the version of yourself in that relationship? Do you like how you feel in that job? Whatever it is. How does that make you feel? And are things equitable? Let's see what we have going on here. Coming in, starting out, we got the King of Swords. King of Swords is focusing on the mind rather than your heart. Really saying like, well, this kind of doesn't make sense, right? And really, it's about taking charge of your circumstances here with the King of Swords energy, for sure. So, current situation here, we have the Eight of Wands, and that is working with the Page of Cups here. So the Eight of Wands is a very nice energy, for sure. This is like good news coming in, lots of busy communication. This is great if you've been feeling held back or stuck. Good news for growth, particularly like about, well, I don't even want to say particularly about love, but certainly having to do with love if you're in that space. If not, if you've been waiting on something having to do with, like, it's more like a business partnership or somebody that you have a shared soul purpose with. This is not like the casual, co-worker, employee. They would be more 6th house, right? 7th house is more like you guys have a shared soul purpose together. But regardless, we like this because For those of you in love, excellent if you've been actually separated or at least feeling separated, right? So this shows me that there's this energy here that wants this sort of coming together. Now we have this working with the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is a really nice energy. This is good news about anything that's emotional in your life right now. We really can say this, like love, family, anything like that. For those of you who are, if you're single, right? If you happen to be single, just because this idea of 7th house is like, perhaps if you're single, you're realizing you very much want to be in a serious relationship. You don't want to play around with that 5th house, love affair kind of stuff anymore. You want to get super serious, right? So for those of you who are resonating with it like that, this can indicate a new potential partner is like right there. But you just want to make sure you don't get swept up too soon. Because the 8 of Wands energies, again, it's a very, very fast energy. The 8 of Wands, and it's like maybe you're communicating with somebody online, and they're like, all of a sudden, hey, you want to do whatever, go to dinner, have a drink, whatever. You just want to make sure the energy is quick, so you just want to make sure you don't get swept up too quickly. Just a little caveat there. So we have the 8 of Pentacles as the crowning energy. So when we're talking about 8s, there is this need for a very logical and diligent approach, right, to whatever's going on here. So, I'm sort of adding that up with the King of Swords here, very much in the mental, not allowing your fiery, your fiery self, right, because you guys are fire, or anything else really, so in your emotions, of course, to inflect the situation. You're not really allowing that at this point. And Pentacles has to do with mental, physical, emotional connections, or literally money. So there could be this focus on responsibilities, money, right? Connecting. So this could certainly be a topic of conversation, at least for you guys. And I feel like having to do with the relationship, there's something going on that needs addressing regarding money, regarding saving, regarding, and it's very sort of future focused, right? It's getting this very sort of like, we're working hard, we need to be smarter with our money, almost kind of thing. All right, for a lot of you, we're going to resonate with it like that. Others of you are just going to be very, very sensible about the relationships and connections that you even allow yourself to take part in. It's going to become very obvious to you. There's going to be a very clear sort of pulling back that you're going to be able to take part in. And remember, we have Mars and Gemini is on your communication axis as well. So just something else to sort of know. And that's going to be hanging out in there until the 3rd of the month. And that Mars energy, remember, Mars rules you. So you're going to be like, look, this is how it needs to be. Well, and so just, you want to be careful of not being too scattered, right? Because it's in Gemini. So you want to just make sure, and it's in your communication axis. So, and it's that warrior spirit. So just make sure that if you feel really passionate about something, that you don't just sort of like, blah, splat everything out all at once. Try to be very mindful when you're communicating. We have the Knight of Swords here. So the Knight of Swords is expect the unexpected kind of energy. Very unpredictable roller coaster, sudden truths coming out, underlying conflicts coming out. And what did I just say about Mars being in that communication axis? So, just be careful. I think it's in your 3rd house. So just, a little to be forewarned, just to be forearmed. Now, it does indicate to me that there could be some heated conversations that could end up being sort of either a relief for you or way confusing. It totally depends on where you're at in this relationship and in this connection and whatever it is that we're talking about here for you, whoever this person is. And really the idea here is wait until things settle before you make a move. Because the thing is, I could tell you, the full moon, especially in anything like that's Venusian, could bring these things to a boiling point where it's like, that's it, I'm done, kind of thing. But then I would try to wait. If you could, if you can't, sometimes you can't, right? Because again, this is a very volatile energy. You might be dealing with somebody who's just coming in and is like, this is what I believe, this is what I want. And at the end of the day, what's under all of that? Somebody's bored. Either it's you or them. Somebody's bored and they just want to like move on to something else where they feel more. And I know that sounds really horrible and overly simplistic, but it's this lack of satisfaction. So there's a drama created, you know, in order to kind of kick up the energies, A, and then B, just try to energetically push something away. But it could be responsive, though, really more to the full moon energies, because something is deeply troubling either you or them. Something's rising up to the top. So, and you know, it's just so these energies is telling me like it's gonna be emotional for you. I'm not even gonna try to lie. Now, if you don't want to take part in this, keep yourself like low key that day. It's like me telling you the weather. If I tell you it's raining out, I'm not telling you have to go out in the rain. You want to stay in, you stay in. Just keep it low key. Like really try to sidestep. If you don't want to engage in anything that could go sideways, better just, you know, sort of like keep a low profile. And I'm going to say over the weekend, but I'm going to tell you what's a little trippy as a side note. We're going to be feeling like spring is in the air, right? And you know that great feeling that we get when we get that, at least, you know, on this on this coast here, it's that beautiful sort of, there's a crispness, there's this new vibe, this new energy, and we get sort of very like, you know, riled up and jazzed up, like in a good way, right? So we're going to be wanting to feel good, but at the same time, there's going to be the spotlight on, well, how good is what you're doing working for you? You know, how is it? How's that relationship? How is it being single? What, you know what I mean? So it's like this kind of stuff. So we have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords energy here is really about kind of taking a time out, stepping back for perspective. Excellent energy for therapy, shadow work, figuring out a better strategy for moving forward regarding the situation. So hopefully whatever happens here, you guys could just breathe it out and then try to, you know, go in your separate corners and just sort of decompress and do some solid thinking here. We do have the Ace of Pentacles. Now this is an external energy that's influencing you. So the Ace of Pentacles is, it's a very auspicious energy. It's happiness, contentment, getting what it is that you want, and it coming to you quickly. And I feel like you're very, Aries, don't be surprised if this weekend you're feeling very like, come on already, I'm sick of waiting. I just really want to feel content. I don't want this, all the other nonsense that goes with it, right? You're going to be feeling this very, very strongly. But your challenge here is the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords, again, you know, the challenge here is getting over these past obstacles, right? Getting what you want, thoughts becoming things, but this is the challenge that you're having. And it could really be because you're both feeling, again, regardless of who this person is, both feeling very much in the right. I feel like the energy I'm getting is there's a lot of emotion there, so this caring, but this fighting to be heard kind of thing. Or other end of the spectrum, lots of passive aggressiveness. You know what I mean? Like silently walking around each other in the kitchen, you know, meanwhile the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife kind of thing, you know. But this is in the near future. So I do like this. This is an excellent energy for you. Major Arcana, Temperance, Cooperation, Moderation. This is a reconciliation energy as well, all for healing. So there's this new level of trust and patient cooperation that can be had here after a pretty volatile time period. So I do like this. Now, for those of you who might be single, you might find yourself energetically and spiritually pulled towards somebody new. For those of you who are coupled, you're going to be in the space of at least hearing each other out, at the very least. And even if it's a work situation, if this happens to be a work partner, yeah, there being this tempering, right? It really is about this idea of let's sit down and put everything out on the table and let's have the conversation. Okay. Now, the final outcome card is the Hangman in reverse. This indicates selfishness, feeling like a victim, feeling like somebody betrayed you, really. I mean, it's kind of like a traitor energy. It's, remember, this is Neptune. Neptune rules the 12th house. So there could be this, you know, and that 12th house is where like we could feel victimized. We could feel like we're martyring ourselves. And the thing is, you know, I feel like in this temperance energy, there's going to be this recognition where it's like, all right, so in order for me to make this work, basically, would be the conversation, you and another person. So basically what you're saying is, in order for us to work, I need to sacrifice what it is that I really want, need, and desire. And they may say yes, they may say no, that's not what I mean. I need compromise. But you saying like, yeah, but that compromise that you want to make, that would be me selling myself out. So I don't know how comfortable I am with that. That's how it can go. Okay, for many of you. Others of you, this idea after having this conversation in temperance, realizing like what still needs addressing here. And it's this idea of somebody just being selfish. So you want to be careful of the little potential. And I want to say this only because of how Neptune is going to be aspecting Mercury at the beginning of the following week. And I always say the energies start hitting us before that actual hit date. And when we have Mercury doing a little dance with Neptune, we can be very unclear about what it is that we're processing in as far as communication. So while the temperance, you might have an excellent an excellent conversation, you might walk away and realize the next day, like, yeah, but you know what? They're actually still selfish, or I'm still not clear on how it is that I feel because I feel like they didn't address everything. It sounded really good in the moment, right? Because of this energy, it's a very like loving energy. But then sort of once the dust settles and everything settles in, you're going to be like, you know what? At the end of the day, though, they're still this way. So it's the sort of feeling like more there's too much talk and less action sort of thing. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. Let me just pull a Moonology card. For those of you who jumped straight to the spread, you might want to go back and just check the beginning of the video, because I did pull 3 Wisdom of the Oracles, and I feel like those were pretty important messages that came out. Look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Let's pull one more. What do you need to release? Waning moon. Okay, there you have it. Those are some really, profound things. Look at the big picture and figure out, what do you need to release from this dynamic that's going on right now in order for you to level up and be happy. Because really, guys, right now, the rest of the year is all about ourselves. And we're going to be feeling it in a very subconscious way. And it's going to be informing a lot of our decisions and our feelings. This need to level up, and this needs to move forward. And what does that mean? This stagnation need not apply. Going back and doing things the same old way. No, right? It's all about moving forward from here. So it needs to be released. But that's what we have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. And if you like my energy and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Thanks so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.